Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're jumping right into something that honestly blows my mind. The literal multi-million dollar cost of just waiting. Playing it safe. We all get it, investing can feel super intimidating, but we're going to look at some hard data today that proves leaving your money on the sidelines is actually the most expensive mistake you can possibly make. $35 million. I want you to just let that sink in for a second, okay? This isn't some crazy lottery jackpot, and it's definitely not a made-up valuation for a trendy tech startup. This is the real-world, actual cost of waiting to invest. So let's break this down and see exactly how playing it safe can literally cost you a fortune. All right, Section 1, the $35 million mistake, featuring Katie Story. So Katie is 31 years old. She and her husband are absolute rock stars at saving. Seriously, they have zero debt and have managed to scrape together $500,000, $500,000. But, well, here's the catch. Because investing feels kind of foreign and honestly a bit scary to them, they've just left all that cash sitting safely in bank accounts and CDs, earning, maybe 1.7 to 3.75%. But let's actually run the math on this over time, projecting Katie's wealth out to when she hits 67. If she keeps that $500,000 locked away in a 2% CD, she winds up with about $1 million for retirement. And hey, $1 million sounds pretty decent, right? But what if she had just dropped that money into the market today? Assuming a historical 12% average rate of return, that exact same money would explode to $36 million by age 67. Because she's terrified of investing, her hesitation is literally leaving $35 million on the table. Unbelievable, right? Which brings us to Section 2. Compound interest, the math of wealth. I mean, how on earth does $500,000 turn into $36 million without her adding a single extra dime? Well, it all comes down to how time scales your money exponentially. There's a really good reason Albert Einstein supposedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. It's because your money actually rolls up its sleeves and starts working hard to make you money. And then, this is the crazy part, the money that your money made goes to work to make you even more money. It's basically this relentless, around-the-clock wealth-producing machine, and time is the fuel it runs on. To really wrap our heads around this, let's do a quick thought experiment. Imagine you start with a single penny, just 1 cent. If you double it every day, by day 8, you've only got $1. It feels so incredibly slow. But keep going. By day 21, you cross the $10,000 mark, and by day 30, you have over $5 million. The absolute biggest explosion of wealth happens right at the very end of the timeline, which is exactly why starting early and actually staying invested is absolutely crucial. Now think about how this translates into our everyday choices. Picture a $150 jacket you're eyeing. If you're making $20 an hour after taxes, that jacket essentially costs you almost 10 hours of your working life. So you've got to ask yourself, would you rather have the jacket or 10 hours of your life back? But honestly, the true cost of buying a liability like that goes way, way deeper than just your hourly wage. This perfectly illustrates the opportunity cost of every single dollar you spend. Think about it. If you skip the jacket and instead invested that $150 into the market, in 10 years, it could be worth $300. Give it 20 years, $600. And in 30 years, that initial $150 would have grown to over $1,100. So the real cost of that jacket today isn't actually $150. It's the $1,100 you are effectively stealing from your future self. Let's look at how this impacts something like a Roth IRA. If you max out a Roth starting at age 18 and you do it for literally just 3 years, stopping entirely when you turn 21, assuming an 8% growth rate, you're going to end up with over $781,000 by the time you retire. But if you wait to start until you're 31, even if you invest the exact same amount of money, you only end up with $287,000. Just waiting those 13 years cost you almost $500,000. Time is without a doubt the absolute heavy lifter here. All right, moving on to Section 3. Time in the market beats market timing. Now, this is exactly where most people totally freeze up. They watch the news, they see the stock market bouncing up and down, and they panic, thinking, oh man, what if I invest right before a massive crash? So they just sit on the sidelines trying to pick the perfect moment. Let me be perfectly clear about what this source data tells us here. Consistent, long-term investing will always outpace trying to perfectly predict market crashes or booms. Honestly, no one can accurately and consistently predict what the market's going to do in the short term. The strategy of time in the market completely and utterly destroys the strategy of timing the market. Every single time. And hey, you don't just have to take my word for it. There was this massive study done by Charles Schwab, and they found that in 74% of situations, you are statistically better off investing your money immediately and holding it for 20 years, rather than waiting on the sidelines trying to time a market dip. Even if you have the worst luck ever and invest right before a drop, over a multi-decade timeline, the market's historical upward trend smooths out all those bumps and still puts you way ahead. The lesson? Just get your money in the game. Okay, so we've looked at the frankly terrifying cost of waiting. Now let's pivot to section 4, building your wealth. This is an actionable blueprint you can literally start using today. The whole thing starts with understanding one super fundamental rule of personal finance. You absolutely have to know the difference between assets and liabilities. An asset puts money in your pocket. Think rental real estate, dividend-paying stocks, or index funds. A liability, on the other hand, takes money out of your pocket. That's your brand new financed car, designer clothes, or even just keeping huge piles of cash in a bank account where it slowly loses value to inflation. Simply put, the banks get rich when you buy liabilities. You get rich when you buy assets. And frankly, one of the easiest, lowest cost assets you could ever buy is a passive index fund. We're not talking about picking the next hot meme stock or gambling on a single company here. An index fund basically holds a massive piece of the entire stock market. By investing in one, you're setting yourself up to grow your wealth consistently at the historical rate of the overall market. You just set it, keep buying those same investments over and over every single month, and let compound interest do all the heavy lifting for you. Now, you might be sitting there wondering, okay, but how much money do I actually need to hit total financial freedom? Well, I've got a really concrete formula you can take away right now. It's called the Rule of 25. You literally just take your total annual spending and multiply it by 25. That gives you the exact target number you need invested. This is based on a safe withdrawal rate of 4%, which basically means you can withdraw 4% of your portfolio each year without ever draining your balance, so it can support you in retirement indefinitely. So, say you spend $40,000 a year. Your magic number is exactly $1 million. You should definitely calculate yours today so you know exactly what target you're aiming for. Let's quickly summarize the core principles we've covered today into a fast-paced checklist. Number 1, buy assets that actually produce income and go up in value. Number 2, avoid financing liabilities that drain your cash and just make the banks richer. Number 3, invest passively in index funds so you can capture the growth of the overall market without all the stress of picking individual stocks. And number 4, honestly the most important one of the entire bunch, start now, like today. Because every single day you wait to invest is a day your money isn't doubling. It's literally a day you are stealing from your own future freedom. Whether it's leaving $35 million on the table like Katie or a few $100,000 on a Roth IRA, hesitation has a very real, very mathematical price tag. So I want you to take a hard look at your own finances and ask yourself, what is your cost of waiting? Thanks so much for watching this explainer. I really hope it gave you the perspective you need to get off those sidelines and start building your future.